Hi, I want to share this quick app that I just wrote, probably in no more than a half an hour, um, on my color computer 1 and 2 emulator, the TRS-80. So even though this computer dates back to 1982, or that's when it was last updated for its its operating system, um, whatever, it can still be practical. It's as good, you know, as anything. Um, so it has powerful math capabilities and so on. But you have to know how to utilize them. And in this case, I have a lot of testing, a lot of math tests that I have to take. And this came up as this is dimensional analysis, and it came up before, and I had a hard time understanding it, but now I understand it, and I just wanted to share it with you. So I wrote this quick app, and so you can use this in any number of ways. This is just one formula for feet to meters. And, you know, there's a lot of controversy out there. I really don't like the metric system. I like English, the English measurements, and here in the United States, that's what we use, except for in the area of science, and they're kind of trying to incorporate more and more of the metric system, but into everyday life and things like that. But it really doesn't equate very well for in most people's lives. Like milliliters, and nobody really knows what a liter is, and unless you're buying a 2 liter of soda. That might be one example in the United States, but we tend to use feet and inches and yards. But anyways, from time to time, when you are in the area of mathematics, you'll have to convert between units of measure, and it's not always a pretty thing, because you don't know what you're doing, and you can get the wrong answer. So what dimensional analysis does, and this is a short formula example, is it makes it a lot easier to convert between units of measurement. And what happens here is, the idea is, in this case, we're going from feet to meters. So whatever we input here is going to come out over here as an equation, and that's going to be our answer in meters. And we're going to stick feet in on this side. Basically, what's going on is that you have to put these fractions in the right order, first of all. And you have to know where to place each one and things like that. And you can usually do it on paper without having to go through this, but it's gonna confuse you and take you a lot longer. And a lot of times, if you do it this way, you'll end up 100% of the time with the right answer. So to walk you through it is that, so I'm gonna put in 5,280 feet, which is equivalent to 1 mile. If you didn't know that, that's 5,280 feet per mile. And if you know what a yardstick is, that's 3 feet, 9 feet. And it's basically, let me start over here. A yardstick is 3 feet. All right, guys, seriously. So, it's just three 12-inch rulers, and that's a yard. And a meter, if you look at any ruler, you're gonna have inches in on one side, and you know, so on. And then on the other side, you're going to have, and then I'm looking at one right now, you're going to have centimeters and millimeters, okay? But most people don't know that there's something called a meter stick, and that is 100 centimeters, or, okay guys, and if you take 3 of these rulers, you're going to notice that a ruler only goes up to 31 about. It's somewhere around, I'm looking at 30 1/2 centimeters roughly, but it's not perfect because 1 inch is actually equal to 2.54 centimeters, so it's not exact. But you get about 30 centimeters, 30 1/2 centimeters on the same ruler as 12 inches, and if we do 3 times 30 1/2, we only get 91 1/2. So a meter is just a little longer than a yard. Okay, guys? And most of the time, people talk of kilometers. That's the most common thing. And it's like, what's a kilometer if you're not used to it? Like, how long is a kilometer? You know, it's 1,000 meters. But that doesn't tell me anything because I'm used to the English system, and I say miles in feet. You know, when you run the 5K, that doesn't tell you very much. It tells you it's 5 kilometers, but what does that mean in terms of miles? So we're going to find that out in this application here. And so any number, like I just put down 5,280, is automatically a fraction over 1. It doesn't matter what number you put, it's automatically over 1. You just don't write it. So if you look up here, and my pointer is just slightly off. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but when I make videos, if I point, I'm pointing directly at the T, but when I watch the video, it's like over here because the capture is a little screwed up. I'm using Xbox capture, and I'm not sure how to, you know, tweak it. There's all kinds of options, and I don't understand it. So, anyways, just bear with me here. So, I have 5,280 feet over 1. Okay, so, and we're multiplying all the way across the board here. Okay, now if this was over 1, okay, you have to set this up in the right order. You have to know that 12 inches is 1 foot, 2.54 centimeters is 1 inch, and 100 centimeters is 1 meter. And if you do the multiplication, then you do this multiplication under here. So there's 2 platforms of multiplication here. The top of the fraction bar and the bottom of the fraction bar. And then you need to do the division. So you'll get a product up here and a product down here, and then you do the division and you get the answer. So I've set up the color computer so that it's going to do that and give us, as soon as I hit enter, it's going to tell us how many meters 5,280 feet is. And then it's going to tell us, you can use this any way you want, how many kilometers 5,280 feet is, which is 1 mile. And you'll see that 1 mile is a little larger than a kilometer. But anyways, so when you're running a 5K, you're not running 5 miles, you're running considerably less. Not really sure, it's 3 something miles, I think. I don't know. Maybe 4. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I don't have time to figure it out. But The thing you need to know here is, as you can see, sometimes I have it over 1, and sometimes it's 1 over something else. So how do you know when to put the 1 on the top and the 1 on the bottom? Because what you need, the answer to that is you have to know that there's 12 inches in a foot, and if I multiply a number of feet by 12 inches, I'm going to get the number of inches in those feet. And then I need to multiply those inches by 2.54 centimeters, and I'll get a total number of centimeters. And then we have to divide that by 100 centimeters, which is 1 meter, and that's how we get the number of meters. But to get back to this, you need to know that order. That's the first thing. The second thing is, after you have that order, you need to know the arrangement of what to place on top of the fraction bar and what to place on the bottom. And this is the part that is crucial to dimensional analysis, and these formulas can be very long depending on what you're trying to figure out. This is a relatively short one. So here we have feet over 1. So if you remember, when you have two fractions side by side, whether they're being multiplied or divided, you cancel them out in a crisscross fashion, in an X fashion. Or if they're one over the other, they can cancel out that way, but that's not how this is done. This has to be done in a crisscross fashion. So we need to cancel out everything except for our final answer will be the only remaining factor. So we crisscross this out, foot and foot crosses out. Then inch and inch crosses out this way, and it just worked out this way. It doesn't always work out. Sometimes it can be an X in a different design. It just worked out. You cross these two out, cross these two out, then you cross these two out, centimeter and centimeter cross out, and you're just left with a number. And then the only thing that's left is the meter. And when you do the division, you'll get the answer in meters. So 5,280 feet. And if I press enter, computer tells us that it's 1,609.344 meters. But we still want to know, because a foot is not really equivalent to a meter. A meter is over 3 times the size of a foot. So we want to break it down into kilometers. So it also tells us that if you don't know the math here, that a kilometer, you just, you would, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, you'd move the decimal place over 3 places to divide by 1,000. And everything in the metric system is by tens, hundreds, or thousands. Kilo just stands for thousands, not thousands. But there's also thousandths. And that's usually in weights and things like that. But so it's roughly 1.61 kilometers in a mile. So there's, a little more than 1.5 times, a kilometer, is a little more than 1.5 times a mile. So 5K would be somewhere around 3.5 miles, between 3.5 and 3 3/4 miles or something like that. I don't know, maybe I'm not doing that right. You know what, I'll use a calculator right now, and I'll just say 5,000 divided by 1.5 roughly. Yeah, it's like, wait, 5,000 divided by 1. I don't know, it's like 3 1/3 miles, 3.5 miles, something like that. but we do know that 5,280 feet in a mile equals 1.61 kilometers. So if you've ever wondered that, there's your answer. And that's it for this video. I just want to show you that you can use your computer for other things besides games. You can use it for, analyzing and, you know, um, animations and things like that as well. So I have, roughly probably 10 math videos. What I really need to do is organize my channel into categories, which I started to do a long time ago, like game reviews, games that I've made, math videos, animations, music. I'm going to organize that for you guys, and then you can search by category. And I think I'm going to eliminate the videos option. I'm going to limit it to the last 5 videos or so. And then after that, you're going to have to go into categories. Because I'm finding that people aren't searching down into the channel for the other content, which is very highly enriched content for this computer, and I want that to be out there to pick up the views to things that I've done in the past. So when I have time, I'm going to categorize it, and then you're only going to be able to see the last few videos that were uploaded, and everything else is going to be categorized into subcategories, and you'll have to, and it'll make it a lot easier, because I wouldn't want to go through almost 200 videos either. But for the new people that joined recently, so they can get a chance to see things that the people that have been with me for the longest have seen and they haven't seen. So that's it. I'm gonna cut this out. This is relatively easy to do on your computer. I'm not going to put the code in the description, but I'll list it. That's all there is to it. It's just 13 lines, and you guys can figure that out for yourself. I mean, most people already know how to use a TRS-80, so I'm just showing you things that you could do if you're, things that you could do with it that you might not have thought of. So, alright guys, until the next video, so long, bye.